Hey guys, how are ya? Hope you're all doing great today. We're in another lovely Amius Rotation in the lovely raid. As always, I tried to put together the most free-to-play friendly team possible for you guys, and I will walk you through the entire fight. I started out with normal. This time around, I should have hard up later this week or something. So wait around for that. So I've actually made this rotation even more accessible and free to play-er than ever before. I tried to look through my old videos and actually, it even showed me like the team that popped up when I clicked on it was apparently the team that I had used last time. Apparently last time I did this, I used Pythion and Padrig. So I have like no recollection of this at all. Those obviously, I mean, maybe at the time they were like fusions and whatnot, fairly accessible champs, but yeah, so yeah, we'll eliminate those. I have like zero recollection of this whatsoever. So yeah, I don't know what's up with that, but the team this time around, we have 3 epics and then just 2 flat out free to play Legos. There's no way you could be attempting this fight and not have these 2 champions, Mithrala and Scyl of the Drakes. As always, we'll just kind of, have a little chatteroo, talk about what everybody is bringing to the table here. Mithrala, this is a really good champion for a lot of reasons. Number one, it's a natural brimstone carrier, and they did an event a while back where we could all get at least some level of awakening on Mithrala. So I hope you're lucky to have picked that up either through that or through other means, just through the awakening shop, or, gotten it in a soulstone. However, this is a super, super tanky champ. Isn't going to die. It's naturally a champion built with high accuracy, and this is a fight where you need a lot of accuracy. I think normal is like 370, 350, something like that. So yeah, definitely need to pump those accuracy numbers up. And then we also have the accuracy lead. We can just go ahead, increase our accuracy by 80. So May as well. She's also got increased defense, strengthen, a cleanse. Super, super useful champion. And the poisons also are a really good combo with Venomage. We'll get into that as we go on here. Next up is Scyl of the Drakes. Really, we're kind of just using her for her passive. She's also has War Master, which I've just decided is like amazing and super great in this fight. If you can use all champions with War Master, any kind of percentage-based damage like that is really useful. Like, you can see it chunking away. So we've got the passive heal. If somebody dies, we can revive them. And then she also can, sparingly place increased speed. So, hey, we won't say no to a little increased speed here and there. You never know when that's going to help out. This is White Dryad Nia, who's basically probably become my favorite champion to use in this fight, maybe tied with Venomage. I'm just running it back with these champs over and over again. But basically, when he goes into the Eclipse form and he does that really scary ignore defense ability, her Ally Protect is super, super helpful because she can split the damage with somebody else, with the person that he targeted. And then if he targeted her, she's quite tanky. She also places Baby Strengthen. She has a huge heal, cleanse, kind of cooldown reduction ability that we'll use a lot. I probably forgot something about her, but all around super useful champion. And next up is Woad-Painted. This is my first time using this champion in this fight, and I've really been wanting to. I kind of just needed to get her built out and put the Masteries on. So yeah, she has a huge heal. She has she has reflect damage. That's not a lot there, but yeah, huge heal. We'll definitely take that. And then again, I've got her kitted out with War Master, so that does do surprising amounts of damage during the fight. So super, super useful champion. She also has an extra turn, so she can come around back to that big heal even quicker. So yeah, definitely a fun epic for me right now, and someone that I was happy to finally show you guys in the fight. And last but not least is Venomage. This is just, this champion was just made for this fight. He has, on top of the poisons, he has decrease attack, which is again super useful with all of these huge abilities coming out, and then also that scary ignore defense ability that we were talking about in the second phase. If you can cut down on the damage of that, that's super helpful. And then probably the MVP by far is the heal reduction, because in the phase 1 he has that absolutely massive heal, which, don't get me wrong, it's completely possible to get through the fight just kind of, you know, letting him heal and slowly whittling away at it. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of videos showing that that is possible on the channel, but if you can just stop the healing, that is much better. So yeah, amazing champion. You know, places basically all of the debuffs that we need. Okay, so let's go into the full walkthrough of the fight. I'll show you guys what I did, why I did the things I did, the decisions I made, mistakes I made. We will discuss it all in detail. So here we go. Okay, so Amius fights. If you've watched any of my videos of doing this fight before, then you know I like to lead with the A1s on basically everybody, with the reason being that he has this ability up here that is going to reverse any negative debuffs on him. So if you place decrease attack, he's going to immediately turn it into increase attack. If you place heal reduction, he's going to turn it into continuous heal. If you place weaken, he's going to turn it into strengthen. So definitely want to avoid placing any of those debuffs at the moment, because the first thing he's going to do is reverse them. And then afterward, he goes into this ability, which is A, the giant heal, and B, it increases the duration of all of his buffs. So basically then, you know, he's got like 5 turns of all of these awful buffs. So it's very, very hard to overcome. So just kind of chill during this part, just do A1s. And, you know, anybody I'm not using an A1 on, I'll explain it. So, yeah, so, I mean, I guess I can explain it. So, Scyl of the Drakes, her ability is a stun, right? You can't stun this guy. So, you're more than welcome to, you know, yeet out your stun. It really doesn't matter. I tend to just go with the A1 with the, you know, the probability to place increased speed. So, but yeah, really doesn't matter what you do there. Same with Woad-Painted. She has an ability that is a single target block active skills, I believe it is. But again, you can't block his active skills, but you know, you're more than welcome to yeet out those abilities. Absolutely no harm done either way. Do whatever you want. But yeah, like Venomage, you know, don't apply those debuffs because they will get reversed. So A1s, and then Mithrala. Yeah, I would say absolutely go out with the increase attack, increase defense. He is going to use some abilities on you here. His A1 is also AoE. So yeah, if we can increase our defense and take less damage from those abilities, why not, right? The one thing to be cautious of is that when he goes into the Eclipse form, which he's going to in, you know, 4 turns here, that's what this little countdown is for. He does, when he goes into that, he does an ability where he reverses all of your buffs into the negative debuffs. So just be careful about people like Nia and Mithrala. You don't want to get those reversed. Right now, it's perfectly fine to use it because, like, look at this stuff is lasting, what, like 2-3 turns at the absolute maximum. So, you know, they'll have expired before he goes into the next form. Don't need to worry about getting those reversed. And then one more thing. I always say, if you have brimstone carriers and they don't apply the brimstone right away, just restart it. It's fine. You know, it's such a huge portion of your damage. It's worth it to restart. You don't have to, but it can definitely make it much easier. So definitely no shame in just restarting if you didn't get the procs you wanted. And we'll continue with the fight. Okay, so again, I'm still just A1ing. Lovely. Okay, so this could depend depending on what you did. For me, he kept leading with the debuff reversal and stun, despite the fact that he doesn't have any reversible debuffs on at all. Can't reverse Hex, can't reverse Brimstone. But yeah, he kept leading with that for me, which honestly, it's good. No matter what happens, I think you can definitely deal with it. The kind of nice thing about it is because if he's going to lead with that, then I can just put the heal reduction on, right, for his next ability. So yeah, now I'm not really afraid of anything because he just went right out with that. So, all right, see what happens. Just keep A1ing here. Yeah, like I said, he already used the reversal, so I'm absolutely just going to use this ability on Veno and block the heal that would normally come out right here. So heal blocked. He's still taking brimstone damage, poison damage. So let's just see what keeps happening. Just keep A1ing. Again, Mithrala, I don't want to use the strengthen because I don't want that to get reversed when the time comes. I'd prefer to use the strengthen during the next phase. So if you see me not using that, that's why. I'm going to keep going with the poisons, and then you'll also see Venomage's ability, his A2. So this was like the A3, the heal reduction poisons. The A2 is decreased attack, decreased defense, but he will only place the decreased attack if they're under poison. So definitely keep those poisons out. And yeah, just A1s were appropriate. I might use a heal here. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm going to use her heal. As you can see, that's enormous heal. Everybody's back to full HP. Really cool champion. Great heal. And then like I was saying, she has an extra turn immediately after this. So she's got really good uptime on the heal because the extra turn allows her to get back to it quicker. So Venom, this is the neurotoxin. Like I was saying, this ability is only going to place the decrease attack if you had the poisons out. And this is a great time to apply it because he's going to use his A1, and that's a big AoE. And then, it might linger into the next phase a little bit, especially if you have like the mastery that makes debuffs last longer. So it looks like for me, it was just the 2 turns on both, but yeah, so yeah, definitely having the decrease attack out helps. So let's just keep going. Let's get some A1s. I'm saving my heal on Nia. No need to use that yet. It looks like I've reapplied Brimstone. Yay. You can see the War Master kind of chunking. Like I said, that's like a lot of damage. Veno can proc poisons on his A1. And all right, so now we're into the Eclipse phase. First thing he's gonna do, the unresistible sleep. Can't resist that one. You can see even Mithrala is not resisting because, yeah, it happens no matter what. It goes through block debuffs, the whole shebang. Nothing you can do about it. Just let that one go on by. The only dub here is that we do have Brimstone, so he's going to take damage for using this ability. So we'll take a small bit of solace in that. And then, like I was saying, that ability, it also takes your positive buffs and turns them into debuffs. So like I said, you don't want strengthen on, you don't want increased defense on. Those would get turned into decreased defense and weaken, which would basically just kill you when he does the AoE abilities. So you can see I was super careful about that. The only thing that happened is that because of the Scyl like passive on her A1, we do have a couple people who got increased speed turned into decreased speed. But, this is like by far the best case scenario. This is really not a big deal. So we'll just keep pushing forward. And then this is his second ability. It's just a big AoE damage. And then, like I said, if you had gotten those negative debuffs on you, like if you had weaken, decreased defense on your whole team right now because the Mithrala buffs got reversed, you would literally just die. So, don't do that. But as you can see, it's, it's very, very low danger levels if your team isn't covered in debuffs. So, and again, the Brimstone proc, I make sure I'm recording because this run was going pretty well. Always do your recording checks, guys. And then, okay, so we're in the second phase. We survived both of the abilities. This is actually the scary one, though, right? His A1. This is the ignore defense on somebody. So you have quite a few options during this part. So let's just go over them really quickly. The first thing you need to do is the reason we have Nia is for the ally protect during this fight. So yeah, absolutely, you need to have the ally protect. You need to be able to split the damage with whoever he decides to target with the A1. And then there are some other considerations also, right? Like you've got your heal should be up again. Mithrala has her strengthen shield ability. So Nia's ally protect ability, it has baby strengthen. So if you think you need it, you're more than welcome to go ahead and replace it with the big strengthen. That is totally up to you. It would also cleanse like these decreased speeds. And then, like I said, I don't remember what I ended up doing. We'll see in a sec here, but like, yeah, you absolutely have options depending on what you want to do. It depends like on your gear and everything, right? Like some people, yeah, they might need the big strengthen. I think sometimes I didn't use it and I kind of just saved it for the cleanse in the next phase. But yeah, we'll see. It's your team. You don't have to do it exactly the way I did it. You are more than welcome to experiment. Okay, so there's ally protect. And like I said, that's baby strengthen. So that's fine. Something else to be cautious of here. Any debuffs you place, those are going to linger into the next phase, and they're probably going to get reversed. So just keep that in mind. Like the reason you don't see me yeeting out the heal reduction and like decrease attack and stuff is because it would just get turned into increased attack and continuous heal. So yeah, probably don't do that. If you get into a bind, like you actually have the cooldown reset on Nia. So you actually could like cooldown reset the Veno if you get into kind of like a pickle with the continuous heal or the heal. So again, like this team has options, which is kind of weird for an Amius fight. Like there's, there are ways to deal with unlucky situations during the fight. So anyway, moving on. A1, good choice. Yeah, I just did the hacks, and the increased defense, increased attack and everything. It's an ignore defense ability, so it really doesn't do anything, but this will carry into the next phase and everything. So yeah, I think more than anything, I was just trying to get like another brimstone proc. So I wanted to use an ability that damages as opposed to like using my strengthen. So that's kind of where my mind was going during that. So there it was. That was the ignore defense ability. As you can see, we basically split the damage, which resulted in both lives being saved. I think he might have like crit or something because this is like far more devastating than this ability usually is in my experience. So yeah. And then I'm just going to go ahead and heal myself with Nia because I don't want to die. Scyl of the Drakes, just used the A1. And then, like I said, I'm not trying to apply any debuffs right now because he is, he's like half of a turn away from going back into the next phase and just reversing everything and me being sad. So I'm just going to keep going ahead with like A1s. That's the Woad-Painted heal again. So really good ability. Feel free to use that whenever you need it. A1. Okay. So we're in the next phase. Unfortunately, yeah, he just did lead with the heal. Nothing I could do to counter it, so it's okay. like I said, you know, if he's healing every time, you can definitely work through it. It takes a bit longer, but what are you gonna do? Nothing to do but keep playing. And then now it's basically, it's the same pattern that we already talked about, right? A1s when you need them. You can use debuffs once he reverses them. Unfortunately, I can't do that right now because he would just reverse them. So yeah, we're just going to do exactly what we did the first time because that worked, right? No need to get crazy. We'll just keep going with what we did. Here, you know, you can cleanse them or you can just let them be. That's up to you with Mithrala. Like, this is such a good ability. I don't like to use it for nothing, you know, but it does look like I chose to use it there. And then here, again, the neurotoxin, the decreased attack, decreased defense, we can use because Mithrala had applied the poisons. Looks like we're just coming out with A1s again. A1s, get the Brimstone proc, yay. That's his A1. Like I said, the reason it's doing so little damage is because we have the decreased attack from Veno. So super useful champion. You can eat out that, like, if you want, you know. It shouldn't linger that long. And yeah, so we're just going to keep doing what we were doing before. A1ing where appropriate. Okay, so now we're back to our unresistible sleep. Big fan. Occasionally, like, I would have people cut in. So, like, typically he uses the two abilities back to back, but it looks like just barely, like Mithrala, because, you know, she was able to cut in. So, just be aware of that. Something else about the cut in, too. The second ability decreases the duration of your buffs. So, like, if your Nia cut in, don't use the Ally Protect right now, because he'll decrease the duration of it. So, yeah, something good to know. In my experience, it doesn't come up that often because my champions, like, don't have like that high speed or resist or, you know, whatever's happening here. So, but yeah, just something to keep in mind. A1s, nobody's weak, so no need to waste the heal. There's that ability. It looks like I forgot to use my Ally Protect. I accidentally just A1 because, you know, I was so excited about all the A1ing. And it looks like because I didn't use my Ally Protect, I actually yeeted out the decreased attack on Veno. So, like I said, I'm not perfect. You know, mistakes happen, and this is my way of dealing with the mistake that I thought I made. And I'm also using the Strengthen, because I don't want to die if there's no Ally Protect. And then it looks like I was fast enough to get the Ally Protect out anyway, but if you were just wondering what the heck I was doing there, that's what it was. And then you can see like how absolutely no damage people were taking when we have the big Strengthen and the Ally Protect. Like, it does nothing. So there's an example of that for you. Just keep going with this. Lucky enough to get another Brimstone Proc-Reno here. Thank goodness. A1s where appropriate. Again, nobody's weak, so I'm not going to heal unless I need to. Go with that. Okay. And then another thing, because I have the Brimstone proc, it's also okay to kind of trick him into using the debuff reversal ability. So, like, you know, once that's on, and if he's weak, you should totally trick him into using both abilities because, you know, he'll kill himself, basically. So, all right. Let's see what I'm doing here. I'm doing that. And then I have two cleansers here, right? So I actually just last second cleanse the Veno so that he's not going to heal. Get the heal reduction on. And then the Brimstone should kill him. Yay. So yeah. Again, like I said, your fight, it's not going to play out exactly like mine just because of, you know, speeds and gear and, you know, the decisions that we both made that were different. But like I said, I think the team has options. You don't have to play it exactly the way I played it. That probably would be impossible. But like I said, you know, you've got cleansers. You can step in with the Veno heal reduction where needed. You can, you can do all of these various things to make the fight go better for you. So yeah, it took me about 4 minutes. There's my gear. I think I sold the vast majority of this. So always something to look forward to. And then let's take a look at the stats, right? Brimstone is just obnoxiously good. It's dumb. I don't have any further comments. She's got like poison damage too. So, but yeah, it's Brimstone. And then let's look at the healers actually. So yeah, don't be fooled by those big single target heals. It's actually the consistent baby heals over time that emerge as the best healer. So yeah, Scyl didn't really look like she was doing much. She totally was. Nia, like I said, it's all about that ally protect. Woad-Painted, big heal, you know, War Master Pox. Veno, decrease attack. Heal reduction, War Master poisons. Very, very useful champion. So there's the final scoreboard. So as always, let's go back in and I'll show you guys the gear. Shouldn't be anything bananas, but yeah, let's go ahead. Let's see if I can remember who I used. So number 1, Mithrala. You know, I don't really have any comments. It's like a fairly standard Mithrala build with the high accuracy chest, accuracy banner. I'm so brazen. I actually have a 5-star accuracy banner. I really haven't built this champ like since I built her. She continues to be useful all over the game for me. Most people use her as kind of like a go second cleanser, so you don't actually want her that fast. Like, you don't want a Mithrala with like 300 speed. It's just too fast, in my opinion. So yeah, just try to, you know, obviously you don't need this much accuracy for the fight. Like we talked about, it's like, you know, 350, 400-ish, but this is, you know, just the way most people would have Mithrala built anyway. Next up, let's do the Scyl of the Drakes. This is fun. I haven't even looked at this build in who knows how long. Yeah, I don't use this champ anymore. I was thrilled to use her in this fight. So yeah, very, very basic build. I've got the common speed boot. Oof. I've got the weapon. You know, I've got the pieces that aren't even 16'd. I've got the 5-star. So yeah, I mean, it's Scyl of the Drakes. She's like just pretty useful just for standing there and having the passive. Oh yeah, and so yeah, let's go back to the Masteries in case anybody is wondering. Masteries, the Scyl ones in particular, I probably looked up like years ago on some website and just blindly copied, so don't judge me too hard. All right, so now we're at the epics. Venomage, there's the Masteries. If you were interested, the build, and like I always say, like it doesn't have to be that crazy, right? Like look at the 5-star perception, the 5-star accuracy, the 5-star speed. Like it's not as crazy as you may think it is. You know, like your build, it doesn't have to be like live arena gold 4 or, you know, however high that ranking goes. I don't even know. But yeah, just get the accuracy need. Be fast enough to participate in an end game fight, and you should be good. Where's my new favorite champion, Woad-Painted? Okay, so this is the only build that's maybe somewhat interesting. I did put her in a Guardian set just because I have like incredible amounts of this lying around from farming Doom Tower for years and not using it. So I think like it's fair to say that probably helped me out during the fights, but alternatively, if you don't have that, like I don't think it would be devastating or anything. But yeah, full disclosure, that was a Guardian set. Absorbs 10% of all damage dealt to ally champs, and you get like a self-heal 10% every turn. Okay, this is the last one, right? Is White Dryad Nia. And again, this just kind of goes to show, like, I don't do anything special when I do these fights. Like, This is Nia in a provoke set, which is what I use her for in Hydra. I'm not going to bother to change to something else. Really, it's fine. So provokes it. So, again, this is an endgame fight. You should be like fast-ish. This isn't even that fast. I thought it would be a little faster, but apparently not. There's the Masteries. It's a tank. We're not applying any debuffs in that fight, so the accuracy doesn't matter. This is for me in Hydra. I don't think I showed you the Woad-Painted Masteries either. So we'll go back to those. Let me just double check that was everybody. Mithrala, Nia, Scyl, Woad-Painted, and Venomage. Yeah, so that was everybody. So there you have it, you guys. That was my normal Amius team for this rotation. Hopefully, an even more accessible team than last time, which was apparently 8 months ago. Is that? I don't know. I feel like I missed one video in between, but oh well. As always, you guys, if this helped even one person, then yay, I have reached my goal. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.